It took me 20 plus years to learn this, but I'm going to teach you in less than 20 minutes in this video. The truth is, everything and everybody was created for a reason, and I believe it is time you find yours. My name is Olem, and on this platform, I help find purpose to live a meaningful and an impactful life. The things I'm about to share with you, I probably started learning when I was 17 years old. At the age of 17, I walked out of church on a cold Sunday morning with my parents sitting right in front of me. And for the next 1 year plus, I didn't return back to church. And the reason I walked out was because I found out, as I came to realize, that the only reason why I was a Christian per se, why I was going to church every other Sunday and every other weekly activity, is because my parents bettered me into the Christian faith. And that just didn't sit well with me because I had no conviction in the things I was practicing. I was going to church just as the people go, right? Just wanted to not piss my parents off. But every other Sunday, I was like, must I go? Must I go? And on that fateful Sunday morning, I was right in church and I made up my mind that I'm not going to live my life based on other people's presumptions and because of what other people expect me to be or to do. And realizing that life is brief, I realized that as far back as 17, I'm 23 right now. I realized that life is brief and I wouldn't want to live my life without a concrete conviction on the things I do. I want to make an impact on the world, but I'm not going to make the impact thinking and only doing things based on what other people expect from me, being a Christian because my parents expect me to be Christian. And so I went on a journey to find my faith. I'm saying this story for a reason, so follow me please very carefully. If you're a young person, especially if you're a very young person, maybe 15 until 35, you're still young, please listen to what I'm about to say. I went on the journey to kind of discover myself. It was a very scary journey. I did things I'm not proud of. I did things I shouldn't have done. But all that led me back to the Christian faith after studying multiple religions and finding out that Christianity is the most hopeful and the most peace-giving religion. And the figure of the Christian faith, Christ Jesus, his life just made a lot of sense to me, and I decided that, okay, why not? So I'm a Christian by decision, and from a decision, it's become an experiential knowledge, right? I first decided to be a Christian, but now my conviction is forged by many experiences. I say that story to say this, right? If you're a young person and you're starting from the rock bottom, you want to understand that there is a purpose for your life. And this cuts across all ages. There is a purpose for your life. God created you and placed you on the earth for a reason. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not illegitimate. If your parents give birth to you out of wedlock, they are illegitimate parents. You are a legitimate child. Because there's a reason why God deemed it fit to send you to the world. The truth is, when the sperms, made the race to go fertilize the egg, your mom's egg, any of those sperms could have gotten to that egg. But guess who got there? You did. So I want to tell you that that wasn't a mistake. There is a divine ordination. There is a reason why that happened. You didn't just arrive on the planet. You were sent here for a reason. And that's what I want you to discover. And in this video, I'm going to help you do so. But to do that, I want to make you understand that purpose is what something is created to do. And there are some fundamental truths that you need to have if we're going to be on the same page in terms of understanding what the purpose for your life is. The first fundamental truth is that there is a purpose for your life. Write that down somewhere and burn it into your spirit. There is a purpose for your life. Secondly, your purpose is not your giving. It is given to you, right? The purpose of this pen was not decided by the pen, the marker. The person who created this pen decided he wants to create something to write. And that's why we have this marker, right? So your purpose is not something you decide, something that you find. It's already been given to you. It was given to you the same way the purpose of your phone to make calls there is a programming into the phone to enable it make calls, and that came with the phone. So the phone is not going to discover, or maybe discover, you discover it makes calls, but the phone is not going to all of a sudden decide that it's to start making calls. If it wasn't programmed to make calls, it won't be able to make calls, right? The third foundational knowledge I want you to have is that as regards to your purpose, you are already a success, right? This marker is not accidental. It's been tested to be able to write. So as regards to you functioning in alignment with your purpose, you're already a success. You've been tested already. You're not new. So you watch your life right now and some things just unfold and you think that God is maybe, what is about to happen? He already knows. He has played you out. There's a scripture in the Bible that says it starts the end from the beginning. He knows the end from the beginning, right? So he finishes things and then he starts them. The same way you're using a new phone right now, but it was tested in the factory. So when God created you in his factory, he tested you before he sent you. The same way Samsung or iPhone creates their phones, they test it before they release them. So Samsung already knows that with certainty, having been tested, this phone will perform these functions, no matter what you think. With certainty, having tested this product, it's going to perform these promised functions. But then, guess what? What happens when you don't know the functions that that phone is supposed to perform? And that's exactly what we're trying to remedy in this video. I want you to know exactly the function that you're supposed to perform as God's product. Because God produced you as the ultimate almighty manufacturer. And he manufactured you, tested you, and sent you to the earth to perform some specific functions. Now, I'm not going to try to be hula baloo about this and say, find purpose, even if that's what I'm encouraging you to do. But then there is a dynamics to it. There's a mechanics to getting there. There's a mechanics to you finding a strong conviction in what you're supposed to be doing on the earth, in your function, the function you're supposed to be playing on the earth. There is a way to that place. But the first thing I want you to understand is that every single individual, the primary purpose for you being alive is to first be a good person, right? The primary purpose for every individual is to first make up your mind to be a good person. And to buttress on that, there is a scripture that says, I think something, I don't know where it even comes from, but do unto others as you have them do unto you. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? So that's a spiritual injunction. It's also a moral injunction, and it's also a life injunction, right? You do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So the primary purpose and the primary predisposition for every individual and every human is to be a good person. So if you're telling me now, I don't know my purpose, Pathfinder, I don't know my purpose. Start from there. Start doing things that don't hurt people. Start doing things that you believe are good for the society and good for the world. The things that you won't have someone do to you, stop doing them. Just stop it. Just start there, right? Because there's a danger in you concluding that you couldn't find your purpose and so you would live your life anyhow. What that will do is that it will make you become a drifter. And when you become a drifter, anything goes. Anything and everything goes. You can do anything at any time, right? There is no moral injunction, no moral restriction for you to restrict yourself and discipline yourself from not doing some things. Okay? So, purpose really gives you discipline. Because you want to understand that you were not created to do everything, right? I was not created to be maybe some people are multi-talented, musician, basketballer, they can do it all, right? But if they try to do everything that they are some seemingly talented in, with the course of their lives, they will not be great at any. So purpose gives you focus. Now follow my thoughts very carefully. I really want these things to get into your spirit, okay? Purpose gives you focus. It helps you identify what you should and shouldn't do, what you should run away from. I had friends who would try to lure me into alcohol. They succeeded, for a very short time, maybe a couple of days. I followed them. Come on, let's go. I'll pay for everything. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's try it out. I later found out it wasn't really for me anyhow. I didn't really like taking alcohol. It wasn't something I wanted to do. But more so, I found out that waking up not mentally okay, not fully myself, is detrimental to me doing the things I want to do with my life. So because that became an impediment to me living out my purpose, that had to stop. That's what purpose helps you to do. It helps you stop things when they become impediments to you living the life you're supposed to live. So the reason why some young people engage in so many self-destructive behaviors, I want you to listen to this. The reason why so many young people engage in so many self-destructive behaviors is because they are not living purposefully. Because when you begin to live purposefully, you get to understand that in as much as you can do something does not mean you should do it. In as much as you can go around with those girls, in as much as you can go around partying, in as much as you can go around loafing about doing nothing, doesn't mean you should do it. Purpose gives you responsibility, and with responsibility comes sacrifice. Get this. Responsibility is a sacrificial idea. What you're responsible for, you sacrifice every other thing you could be doing to that responsibility, right? There are many things I could be doing with my time right now. Fact, I'm just coming back from the gym. I had some other things to attend to. I'm kind of like recording a bit late today, when it comes to my schedule. But from the gym, I attended to that. Now I'm here recording, and I've got to do this. Why? I could spend this time doing something else, playing video games, watching movies, doing some dumb stuff. But because I understand life being purposeful, I know that if I'm going to fulfill the purpose for which I was created and sent and planted on the earth to function in, I need to do this. And that's why I'm doing this. So purpose gives you focus. Purpose gives you responsibility. Purpose is sacrifice. Because you want to understand that there are a lot of good things. Now, I say that because not everything that you could do with your time are bad things, right? So you don't want to get yourself sidetracked by secondary activities. Please follow my thoughts very carefully. I'm being very open to us. Nothing, I'm just peeling these things just as they are coming to me, okay? But I want you to follow my thought very methodically, okay? So we think together, think out these things together. When purpose gives you responsibility, and you want to understand that the things that you are supposedly not supposed to do, my thought is being kind of distracted a bit, but here's what I'm trying to say, right? There are a lot of good things that you could do, but they are not right for you. So it's not as though there's something wrong with you starting that other business or you going around with those friends. But the question is it good for you? Is this the right thing for you? Not that it's not good. Because I've come to realize that many people get sidetracked by secondary activities. Many people get busy doing good things that are not right for them, right? It's called the will to fail. So you distract yourself by things that give you seeming success just to appease the guilt of not moving forward in your life, whilst avoiding the things that you know you should be doing. And I was guilty of this for a long period of time. I knew I should be doing this, what I'm doing right now, recording pathfinding sections, way from way back. But because of fear, because of unbelief, self-limiting beliefs now, because of past failures, because of the fear of criticism, because of these 4 things, I held myself back from doing the things I knew I should be doing. And I don't want you to make that mistake. And if you've made that mistake, as I have, it's time to call it a quit. Because there's a reason for which you are on the planet, and I want you to find it out. And how do you find it out? First of all, as I said, now follow my thoughts. Purpose is responsibility. Responsibility is a sacrificial idea, and sacrifice means you need to focus, right? So you can't do everything, but you can do the right things. You can do the right things necessary to propel your life to the fulfillment of your purpose. I could use this pen to pick my nose, this marker. Like, it's adhesive chemicals. I could use it to pick my nose, but it's not meant to pick my nose, right? And if I decide to stupidly, as I will not do, you're not going to tempt me to do it. If I decide to use this to pick my nose, the consequence for that abuse will be on me. That's the word. It's called an abuse. When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Attributed to Dr. Miles Monroe, he said that. When the purpose of a thing is not known, you're inevitably going to abuse it. So imagine a kid who doesn't know what this marker is meant for. I'm using it to write now, right? And then the kid finds it somewhere and just picks it up, and you can imagine what kids could do with this, right? Draw on their hair, draw on their, go crazy with it. They're abusing the marker. And that's why when you've not realized the reason for which you were created, every other thing you're doing is an abuse of your life. Because there is a use for your life and you're not using it in accordance with that use. You're not using your life in accordance with that use. It's a predestined use. You don't, out of emotions or out of some concussions, decide to say, no, you were given that purpose. Now, I'm not going to press, because when I say this, people, in as much as they know is true, but the idea of you actually settling down to think on these things and actually find out your purpose amidst the distraction of maybe family, trying to make a living, make ends meet, amidst all those distractions, purpose, now go put money for my Abi. Nigerians can be crazy. You hear someone say, now purpose go give me food chop. Now that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying life is more than you chopping. Yes, there is more to life than just eating food, raising a family, paying bills, doing whatever, getting all your vanities. There is more to life than that. There is a reason for which you were sent to the earth, and I want you to find it out. That said, remember that it's a sacrificial idea, which means it's not that when you find your purpose, all of a sudden your life becomes magical and you start living as though you are in heaven, right? It means you have to serve yourself to the world, because your purpose is not meant to benefit you. It's meant to benefit the world. This marker gains nothing from being a marker. Doesn't. It's beneficial to me because I'm using it to write. The same way a mango tree does not eat its own mangoes. It makes the mangoes, and then you and I go to the tree and pluck the mangoes off and feast on them, right? So your purpose is supposed to make someone else's life better. So if your purpose, now this is where I'm leading to with this. If your purpose is destroying, killing, stealing, if your purpose is doing anything that is taking the society backward and being detrimental, causing menace in the society, then you should know that that's not your purpose, right? So you can't tell me your purpose in life is to be a Capone. No, you are not a Capone, my brother. You can't tell me your purpose in life is to join a cult and kill people. No. Now, you could have found yourself in those situations, but you can get out of them with this knowledge. All right? So the litmus test for you knowing that your purpose is right, the foundational litmus test is that it's contributing to the bettering and betterment of other people's life. So automatically, if it's killing, if it's destroying, if it's stealing and causing havoc in the society, then you need to call it to a quit. I say that to you, especially if you're at a position in your life where you're finding yourself to be doing so many things that you're not necessarily proud of, right? Maybe you're hurting people. You're not really bad. You just lack knowledge, okay? I want you to understand that. I say this from experience. You're not really bad. It's just that you don't know what better to do, right? When you get better knowledge, you take better actions and you become a better person. So listening to this right now, you should understand that the primary purpose of every individual, don't forget what I started with, the primary purpose of every individual is to be a good person. Be a good person. And I know that little voice that in you that is, oh yeah, tell me what good is. You know what good is. For a start, try not to harm people. Try not to be a reason for someone's sorrow, for someone's pain, for someone's losing joy. Try not to be a pain in someone's, whatever the word is. I'm not going to say it. Try not to be using curse words anymore. All right? So you want to try to be a good person. If it does not contribute to someone's life, if it does not lift somebody, if it does not raise somebody, if it does not accentuate somebody, don't be found doing it. Start from there. Make up your mind to be a good person. And then how do you find purpose? And this is what I wrap with. Purpose, you can't find without sitting down to think. You have to sit down and make a honest assessment of what you're angry about, something that pisses you off about the world. You need to assess your life's journey so far. You need to go back to the past and find out the things and I know I may say this and you're like, I know these things, but please listen, right? Actually assess the things that you were naturally good at, especially while you were younger. And then you need to go back to your childhood fantasies, things you've always wanted to be as a child. You wanted to be a basketballer, a footballer, you wanted to be a speaker like this. I've always, for a very long time, known that I will speak. I should speak to people and help them think rightly and live rightly. I always knew this. It took me a long time to come to terms to finally go in that direction. So you need to go back to your childhood, and then you need to analyze your potentials, the things you're naturally gifted at. I will speak in school and even my teachers will clap like reflexes. They don't know how when they started clapping, they'll start clapping. And it's not as though I was so eloquent or so fluent or so articulate, but compared to my peers, I was actually a good speaker. So you really have to go back to all this past, things you thought, your potentials. You need to check them out. Now, in as much as I found out that my purpose was in alignment with speaking and helping people think rightly to live rightly, I had to concretely define what I was trying to do. And for me, the vision that has been given is pathfinding, which is literally to help people to find purpose, to live meaningfully and impactfully. Not just live meaningfully, but impactfully, right? That's the vision that has been given to me. And it's become a strong conviction. And there's an ordination behind it, if you want to hear that. There is an ordination behind me. So, those things, go back to your past, figure out what you're very angry about in the world and you want to change. Analyze your potentials, the things you're naturally good and gifted in. And trust me, if you actually take out time, this thing is not really as difficult as people make it seem. If you actually take out time to actually sit down and try to figure these things out, you will figure them out. And of course, if you want me to, I'm not going to tell you to try to reach out to me, because the truth is, there is really, maybe, a one-on-one conversation would go a long way. But with what I've just listed, trust me, it may take you just a little more time to quite piece these things together. Guidance would have been, but whatever, however it goes, really, just decide to do it. I'm not talking of taking an entire year to do this. You could take a week out, you could take 2 days out to actually sit down. It's a period of meditation, a period where your mind is in sync and you're connecting to your creator, because ultimately it's you trying to speak to the spirit being. Remember, primarily you are a spirit, you're not your mortal flesh, you are a spirit being. So you want to have a spirit to spirit communication to identify what the purpose for your life is. And the spirit you're trying to communicate with is not just any spirit, it's the ultimate spirit, the God spirit, the one who created you, is the father of all spirits. He gave birth to you. And so you want to ask him, why did you give birth to me? And trust me, he that asketh shall be answered. He that seeketh shall find. He that knocketh, the door shall be opened unto him. Right? Ask and you shall receive. If you ask, God is going to give you answers, and for sure you will receive them. That said, I want you to share this video with somebody. If you found value, if you've taken value out of this, please share with somebody. I get rambling when I start to ask people to do stuff, but I'm not a very good asking person. I'm more of a giving kind of person, but please do me the favor of sharing this with someone. I want young people to hear these things. I've literally seen the things I communicate on this platform change my life in ways I couldn't even dream of starting off. At the age of 16, I couldn't speak English. I finished with this. At the age of 16, I couldn't speak English. And that became a very big handicap to my life. You can imagine moving from the village to the city, mingling with kids I became isolated. I became shy. I became timid. I couldn't even speak among my peers, right? but the things I'm communicating on this platform really literally transformed my life and changed me to becoming a person who many of the people who I used to look up to and who I literally used to be shy about around, they now look up to me. A lot of things have changed, a lot of doors have opened up to me. I'm not where I want to be in life, far from it actually. I'm still in the cave. But I can look at my past, I see a lot of progress being made. And from here, it's an upward and forward climb. So I want you to share this to young people, young person, anybody really, but especially young person. If you have someone you think this will help, please forward this to them. As always, remember that I subscribe to the family. If you're yet to subscribe, do that. Hey, subscribe. Subscribe. We're trying to create a community and you're welcome to be part of it. So subscribe to the family if you're yet to do that. If there's something resonating in you, reverberating in your head, put it in the comment section and so other people can get to know how we're thinking around these things that we're putting out. So always remember that I am waiting to celebrate your best life and I'm rooting for you because I believe in you. See you in the next video.